We're live. It's episode 181. Shane's here. He's purple. He's red. He's pink. What is he?
We don't Wolverines! Know. Yeah!
Hell yeah. Everybody should go watch it. It was pretty fun, I gotta say. My favorite meme on the internet, you know, in Predator, when Arnold Schwarzenegger is like with the guy who's like a Native American guy, and he's like looking off into the woods.
His name's Billy. Yeah.
Billy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And he's like, Billy, what do you see? And the memes are always like, well, my dog is looking at a fucking ghost in the corner. And I'm like, the dog, what do you see? And the dog's like, that's my current favorite meme on the internet. All other memes make me sad. So let's move on to sponsor spotlights. Woo! They changed StreamYard in the back end, and it makes me sad. Vettoday.com for all of your testing needs. Use code #ShitHappens for $5 off the crypto panel. What's your code, Shane? It's a secret.
Right? Small Town 10.
Yeah. I thought
# Small Town 10.
10% off whatever you want. Thank you,
yeah.
Chad and Ralph. Very important. Bravo Zulu Ball Python. She's updated her website a little bit with available inventory. Check out bravozuluballpythons.com. We love websites now because you own it, not anybody else, which is very important in the current day. So everyone should make a website. Even if you don't update it perfectly, at least have a landing page with all of your info, because you never know when you're going to get canceled. Justin, Stoneage Pythons, he said he had a great show on the 18th, which we love to hear. We love great shows. And he's going to be also at the Puyallup show on 25th and 26th. He's a Pacific Northwest ball python breeder. Andrew, he breeds ball pythons, rodents, gopher, cocoa, dealer, and other fun species. He has finished his ARS that we talked about. Thank you, ARS, for being very cool and chill. And also, he's vending the Puyallup show. He's got lots of grabbing females. And I don't know, but I've already written a fan fiction in my head where there was mostly platonic hugging with Eric in Phoenix last weekend, and I am all for it. I don't think there's picture evidence, but we can just imagine, right? Right, Shane?
I think there was some grab assing going on.
Do you think since Andrew's really big, he could lift up Eric in the like Dirty Dancing lift move? What do you think of that? Is it possible?
Nobody puts Eric in a corner and just like,
I think it'd be beautiful. They'll have to try that next time they get together. 10 out of 10. Sorry.
I like it.
Yeah. No, they're fun. Thanks, Andrew. And then Gray Family Snakes, they also have a website. We love websites. GrayFamilySnakes.com. Check them out. They have sort of updates there. And guess what? Prices are a little cheaper on the website. And they've set it up so you can buy through the website now if you want to get a little deal better than Morph Market on GrayFamilySnakes.com. Chris,
wait.
What?
I want to say I also have a website. So, all right, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
Good. That's good. I've always been team website. Always. Team, be in charge of something somewhere.
I owe it to the species that shall not be named because in that community, that's a popular thing. So when I was dealing with those, I had my own website and I still have it.
Good job. Too bad we can't talk about them anymore. Chris at BS Reptilia, he still has Tarahmaras, a few Costa Ricans, some bull snakes, pine snakes, Depe JNI, some ball pythons. He doesn't have a website yet, but he does help manage CocoDude.com. So if you want to be a cocoa supplier for the chipper or what is it? What is the I forget. Their other brand. They're like pre-set up brand. Go for Coco? No.
Go Coco to go.
Coco to go. There's too many. If you want to be a supplier in your region, message and maybe you could check it out. Or if you want to see them in person and message them and maybe hug them, maybe do a dirty dance with Chris. I don't know. I'm not here to judge. Check them out at the Oaks show at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center on January 26th. Hopefully that was not the worst sponsor spot ever because Shane's here. You made it better. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a while since I've been on.
I know. You were slow rolling your debut in the 2025 season. How does it feel to be like blossoming?
New year, new me, baby. New year, new me. I feel like a new man, literally. I have so much more room for activities in the house. Like I got this cool unfinished podcast room, but it looks really good the way it is right now.
Do you have just one key light above you or in front of you, or two?
It's one, but it's like on a hinge, like a V. I can do things with it.
All right, very good.
Why is it shining on my bald head too much?
No, I just like it's kind of gives like a depth of field thing effect that I think is nice. Because mine's like relatively like it looks all sort of evenly lit, but yours is sort of like going into darkness, so it's actually like more visually interesting, in my opinion. But
I thought you were going to tell me how good looking it made me, but
oh yeah, it's so hot.
I set the room up so I could go at different angles too, but we'll get into things later.
And then the thumbnail, I don't know. I was born.
I think she was calling me old.
No, I was like, what can I do? What sort of stock imagery can I do to like be in the future or prognostication or like what's going on? And then I'm like, Palantirs are funny because I was just gonna do an 8-ball, like where you shake it up and you get a thing. And I was like, what's the future? I don't know. Ask me later. And I was like, Palantirs are funny. So that's all that is. It doesn't mean anybody's old and everyone's having fun. And also, I would probably be Saruman if realistically I was in Lord of the Rings. You always think you're the main character? Probably not. What's up? What's up? What's up? Thanks.
I like Saruman because he's kind of like how Magneto is in the X-Men world. He's kind of good, but he's kind of bad. He's more real. He's got a lot of depth to him,
Right. The Palantir, though, maybe seduced him. You're not supposed to look into the... All right, we did it. We did. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Hopefully, I don't know if you'll learn anything today. You probably never will, but...
Not with me on.
We're just here to like chit-chat and having a good time. So let's talk about a little bit of news before we get into like a 2024 talk. But on the actual podcast with Caleb Hammer and Theo Vaughn, they don't ever bring up what you see in like the short. That is only on the short. So if the episode has millions of views, they're not actually seeing like that. Whoever like toggled in and like went through Google and like brought up the thumbnail to that episode. So a lot of people are like, well, you're going to get a lot of views. I 100% assure you I have not. Nobody has like Googled it and checked. So I don't been tagged in it a lot. What did you think about their message though? There's a lot of things that I thought were kind of reductive and wrong, but maybe right in a way. What did you think?
Well, I've only seen the shorts. I did not go to the full version yet. I haven't really had time yet. But from what I've seen, I mean, it's outsiders looking in and I mean, their job is to trash talk. I mean, that's what their show's about. I mean, I'm not offended by it. I mean, they're wrong on all kinds of stuff, but there are so many nuances to what we do, and outsiders never going to be able to like talk about it correctly. That's my view on it.
And are they supposed to be perfectly correct? Also, like a lot of people are like, it makes me not like them, and I'm like, but that's probably how they talk about everything all the time, Right. So you can still like them, but it's supposed to be for entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen clips of them trash talking other things, and it's just comedy to me. I mean, I don't take it like seriously. So
do you watch Caleb Hammer's YouTube channel in any capacity?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't listen to Joe Rogan either. Everything's by clips. I mean, I get the highlights the same way I get my news on Facebook. And that's my current events for the day,
Yeah, I think there are like interesting things to talk about. Because I was like, I don't remember necessarily what I said in that particular episode. Because because it's 2 years old now. And I pretty much agree with exactly what I said. So if you're like, do you want to go back and check and see if Jessica thinks ball python breeding is a Ponzi scheme? I already said it 2 years ago. So go check. Because I think people, I don't know, like people sort of misconstrue the definitions of Ponzi scheme, MLM, and pyramid scheme. And they also misconstrue sort of what we're doing. And then they misconstrue that this is a ball python exclusive problem. It was very rich and morally dubious to go onto that thing and be like, yeah, this is all ball python's fault. Only ball pythons do this. And yet I breed morph boas. Hello. It's the same thing that's happening. So to me, it's like a nothing burger. That's why I didn't like re-share it or repost it or even really comment on it. I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, and I read some of the comments on the shorts going around, and shout out to Ozzy. I seen Ozzy in there speaking up, speaking intelligently. And I believe when there's outside forces that could cast a shadow on us, I think we need the upper echelon to speak, because Ozzy's been around for decades. So I appreciate you, Ozzy, if you ever see this, man. Thank you for speaking up out there in the Instagram universe.
Right, but they shouldn't say that on a clip that's been copied and reposted.
Right. It should be on the original.
Yeah.
Should be wherever wherever the original came from, because I think I seen it from like a
modern reptile shop.
Yes, it was that.
Right. The reptiles with you boys are fine or whatever, and they're just sharing content, but they aren't them. So like being mad at them or talking to the with you boys doesn't change the larger national discussion to me. That's all. I don't know. I it's hard to like, I don't know, get people to get on the same board, because literally every animal breeding hobby I think is the same. And I know people are like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, bro, they're all the same. You want to breed premium goats? You're going to have to buy expensive ones to make nice babies that are selling for a premium over the ones that turn into tacos. That's just a fact of life. All the animal breeding hobbies are the same. It's just like, which ones do you want to work in? Which ones do you want to do?
Yeah, I was like, I had my pinky toe in the Frenchie world, and it was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same thing.
Right. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think people just like worry about, I don't know, like a lot of times you have to worry about the things that you can actually control, which is like, how many snakes do I want to make a year, and where do I want to sell them, and who's my target audience for my content to sell the kinds of snakes I want to make, or goats or whatever. So that's things you can't control, which is what I would worry about,
Yeah. That's why I don't pay too much attention. To me, like, though, that level of like influencers or social media people or whatever, like, I'm not going to change their mind or what. I mean, they say all this to get views and clicks and comments. And I mean, that's what they do for a living. I'm not worried about it.
Right. And I think people are like, they will make people not want to breed ball pythons. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think the people who want to do it already know it's probably not the most financially, like, it's not the easiest business to build. So I think most people know that when they start, right? So they're doing it for passion or whatever. And most of them know they probably will be happy to break even, which is pretty good for a hobby, right? Breaking even is like fire. Most hobbies cost money. So then like you have all these, like, if people know that, then it doesn't matter what anybody else says, because you're having fun, right?
Correct. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Also, Stephen loves your new podcast room.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right, now that we got that squared away, I just don't really care. I don't care. It is cool that I guess I got mentioned somewhere, but they didn't engage the content. They didn't like debate my points. They didn't. So like, it doesn't even matter that I got mentioned, really.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah. All publicity is good publicity. I mean, roll with it. You're famous.
No.
When we finally meet in person, I want your autograph.
On your boobies?
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
do it over here, this side. And then I'll get it tattooed. I got a little room over here. I got a little like non-tattooed skin over there.
I don't know. I would love to see. I guess this is a goal. Wait a minute. No, let's not go out of order. 2024. What were some things that we feel like we learned, or goals that we met, and maybe goals we did meet? We need to work on. You go first.
Or am I just talking about small town exotics, or am I talking about the industry as a whole?
You know what, Big Dog? We can be as wide a scope as we want, because you can just be like, I learned that I need to keep my friends closer, or my enemies closer, or whatever. It could be general.
Well, I was pretty tunnel visioned most of 2024. I had a good collab with Redline. That's why I wore my Redline road trip shirt. Mm-hmm. That was my biggest social event of the year. That was great. Other than that, I stayed in my own little head within the Patreon. I stayed with my people and just focused on that. I had a lot of family stuff going on, and it was my least productive season ever to date.
There's a number of animals sold or produced, or clutches?
Number of animals produced. So I had 5 ball python clutches, 2 hognose clutches. So I'm really only paying attention to the market when I'm listing animals for sale in a certain project. Mm-hmm. So I keep my focus very narrow. So mm-hmm. Seeing as I didn't have very many animals, I only seen a couple snapshots, and it is what it is, Do
you think that helped you keep your eye on the ball? Or do you think it hurt? Because when you came back, you're like, oh.
No, it helped me stay focused on other areas where I needed to be focused in my mm-hmm. in my personal life.
Thanks for gifting a membership, Chris. I don't know who got it, but if you got it, you can say thank you to Chris. Black Snow Reptiles. Eileen's here. 319's here. Chris. Keeper Kane's here. What's up? Yeah.
So,
do you feel like you want to go out in the world again this year? Like, do you want to do more stuff like in Canada?
Absolutely, 1,000%.
Okay, good.
Like I have more room in my life now. So I'm just going to say it. So during 2024, especially towards the end, I was going through a divorce. That is done. And now Shane is back.
Woo!
So
that's good. Yeah. Do you feel like it made, I don't know, it like gave you like the enthusiasm to keep going through your troubled times, going to Canada and playing with Steven?
Yeah. That was definitely the highlight of the year. That was probably the highlight of 2 years for me. I mean, that was a bucket list type thing, mm-hmm. and we made it an event. So like that will always be one of my best reptile community memories right there.
Oh, that's nice. Because even if you, I don't know, you just want to have some pets or whatever, you still have something you did.
Yeah. I mean, like when you look back and there's like milestones and highlights, that's definitely one of them right there.
Mm-hmm. And so you didn't breed very much last year, or maybe they didn't go, but this year is going to be more, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm feeding and breeding right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be breeding the most hogs I've ever bred to date this year as well. So,
mm-hmm. Where do you fall in the like, what is too much spectrum? Where like some people are like, you should breed less because we don't know. And some people are like, you should breed as much as you want to breed and you'll figure it out. Or where do you fall on that spectrum?
where I fall is choice C. So everything I'm breeding, there's a like I'm hoping for a holdback in every pairing. So I'm not breeding just to breed. There's a purpose for every pairing. So that's where I'm at. Obviously, I'm not going to hold everything back. There's specific animals, that I'm aiming for, but I'm not just breeding just to breed. Does that answer the question?
I think that's fine too. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I like to gnash my teeth about what we're supposed to be doing, because a lot of times I'm like, a lot of the things we do in this hobby are relatively. You do things to help other people sometimes, and sometimes not breeding an infinite amount of bananas helps a baby breeder breed bananas for the first time, right? Yeah, that's what. So, right. Like, I have these like egalitarian thoughts about like what we should be doing. Because I think here's my 2025 prediction: things will be even more different this coming year. Like the top shows will be different. The top breeders will be different. People will. I don't know how they'll be different. I just have a feeling we're like on the cusp of like little baby breeders are going to want to be medium-sized breeders, and medium-sized breeders are going to want to be big breeders. And so there's going to be competition that's going to make new winners. What do you think of that theory?
I like it. Let me answer Eileen real quick. If you're talking about my leopard boas, they're doing great. I think I'll be breeding them in 26, so I'll have even more stuff going. Woo!
Do you think so? They're so slow growers, even if they look done.
I don't know, man. My Tarahumara boas, they'll be 4 years old in 26.
Okay. You could try.
They're bigger than Vin Russo's ones that fit in the palm of his hand and breed. I mean, I don't know. Right. We'll see. Let me know. But yeah, I'm gonna try. So I didn't say I would succeed, but I'm gonna try. So I agree with you, Jessica, on your prediction. But here's where I'm at. Personally, I'm too stupid to quit and too stubborn to give up. So I'm just going to keep going. That's all I know how to do. So.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's like people that sort of like quitting if you think about it. But like I've seen like, we've talked about this a lot on the phone, like major shifts in the composition of the vendors at Dallas. Will there be major shifts in the composition of vendors at Tinley?
I think so, just because of other shows that are going around. Mm-hmm. And I'll be at the Southeast show in Atlanta here in a couple weeks. If anyone wants to come see me, I'll have shirts, I'll have hognose. Let's take a picture and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm done with my ad spot.
Yeah, I guess I forgot. I haven't been talking about that. You should tell me when I ask for sponsor updates.
Well, my sponsor update today was I would be on, so I could just tell you in person. So February 15th and 16th, Atlanta, I'll be vending. I won't have a whole table full of animals, but I'll still be there with some hognose. I'll have shirts, and I'm unveiling a whole new show setup, a new look, and kind of a refresh, not a rebrand, but a refresh. So I dropped a bunch of money on new show stuff.
Lisa says maybe you should. Is your camera low? Like, are you looking down at your camera?
No, my screen to my computer's low.
Oh.
I'm waiting on my tripod thing. So I'm hooked up to my Canon M50, which is right above my screen. So I'm looking at you. I could look at the camera though.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. But she likes the lighting. It's a good job.
Thank you. I'll just wear sunglasses in here, so then you'll never see where my eyes are.
Mm-hmm. I also think the things that we think will be cool to breed in ball pythons will be very different very soon. And I don't know what that means. But I think we're like on the cusp of people are like, I was just doing something that I liked, and then y'all are acting like it's worth $50, and so people will just start to act differently because there will be no sort of if they're all relatively underpriced. I don't know what the prices are supposed to be anymore. It's a mad lad. People just do what they want. What do you think of that theory?
That's what I'm doing. I'm just continuing on my path. I put years into what I want to see. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm going with the prediction that although like the most recessives in the animal seems to be the goal right now, I think after that cherry is popped, it'll be like they got to look good. So I got looks I'm going for. I'm not like trying to cram the most genetics in each animal. Although that looks good on paper, like a hypo DG, G-stripe, clown, pie, or baby, like whatever. The animal probably won't even eat, honestly.
Yeah, we don't know, but like I think that there have been some quads that have been hit that are very underwhelming. Like, you know.
Well, what was the one that Justin just hit? That was like 6 or something. I didn't even watch the video.
Well, it was like homozygous for incomplete dominance too, but it basically makes a nearly white pied, basically. So like,
cool.
Yeah, I mean it's genetically powerful, but like that's not. I don't know. I struggle with like, what do people want? And the answer is none of it matters really. It matters what you want to look at every day. So, I'm gonna keep and breed more hypo stuff because it's always been my favorite, always. but you're always like, prioritizing money over here, and you're like, well, I only have $4,000 this time, so I got to buy a Powerhouse male. But like, whatever, I don't care anymore. I'll buy $100 hypos. Like, it doesn't matter because to me they're frankly better looking than most things all the time, even as an adult.
I like it. I'm a big hypo fan too. And I'm also with Holly over there on Team Cypress. I really like Cypress. That's one of my main themes going in, Cypress.
Yeah, that's part of it too. Who was I talking to? I don't know. Can't forget. But like a lot of our stuff is kind of ugly once it falls out of like the breeder coolness part. It will be less than the banana because it's not even that unusual looking. I do still do boas, and I will always do boas. The boa thing is, to me, it's hard because you can't make infinity boas for sure, in my opinion, because they're bigger. People act like they can't house them when you try to sell them. So I want to make the right amount that I can sell to people who know that they need to get a PVC cage eventually. That's how and that might just be a couple litters a year, some years. That's fine.
Here, I want to say an observation that I made along with Steven in 2024. So we were international snake travelers that year, right? So all of our shows down here, or at least the ones we go to over here on the East Coast, southern area, because everything is so recessive driven, you see all these expensive snakes that's like an inchy something or other, quad het this and that. And that's like the show overall doesn't really look that good animal wise because there's like so het driven and stuff, But like in Canada, their tables were all full of beautiful animals. It's like a whole different vibe up there.
Do you think we should sell like the aesthetic at a show instead of selling the parts to make it? Like keep them at home or in like the deli cup special section, even if they're expensive? Because like a bunch of quad hets that are inchy quad het in a rack, they might be expensive, but nobody's inspired by anything in there. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my Canadian friends, and I would give him a shout out, but I don't want to give any negative connotation to him. But he mentioned that when he was in Tinley, he noticed the same thing. Our tables look pretty ugly.
Right. How do you inspire someone to be like, wow, I want to pursue that if everything looks pretty brown? And I have the problem. I like ball pythons. I'm like, oh, I'm not looking at any of these tables.
Right.
Something to look at. Oh, brother.
So maybe we have some pretty animals. Maybe we bring the goal animal with the ingredients. So they have, like, even though it's not for sale, like, here's what I made and here's the ingredients over here if you would like to pursue something like this or something along those lines, you know?
Yeah. Like I 100% know how expensive doing a show can be because I do them. So I understand that there's like a profit incentive, but I've I don't know, turned more and more. Like I need to be bringing even less animals to show and showing off and describing them even better, getting people on a mailing list, and I will mail you availability. Sort of a very Canova-like model where most of it's not for sale. It's truly an expo where I'm exposing the species I keep. Like, do you want to get on the mailing list for snakes that turn blue when they grow up? Great, sign up. But I'm not going to sell you any here because they look gray as babies. And so it's like a hard sale to a mom with 50 kids. And so like I'm almost more and more, especially at the plant show, because that audience is very fresh. They could buy a banana or whatever, but a lot of them, like, you're a man of great taste. So, you want a $500 plant. You will definitely want a $500 snake, but you're just not ready yet. So let's get you on a mailing list. What do you think of that?
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as true ambassadors to the reptile community, industry, whatever, like you need to be doing outreach like everywhere, not just at shows. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think this is it's something I think I've failed on in the last year hard. It's like enough education, talking. And I think it's show's fault, which I sort of is convoluted. Like that's being an ambassador. But I think your ability to impact the hobby, a species, joy, and breeding or whatever is so much bigger online. And I'm like, I have struggled to make 40 cents at a show, spent 60, 70 hours there, set up, tear down, driving, maybe talk to 6,000 people. I could have done the same video online. Like, hey, hypo is the best recessive, period. And also reach 6,000 people from the comfort of my home. So this year I want to do way more shorter, not podcast length, because it's sort of intimidating, but YouTube content. Being like, this is cool. It looks blue. Hello.
Well, that's like we have multiple tools in the tool belt to use, though.
Right.
So we need to be using them at all times.
Shows can be that, but I think it's really hard because shows sometimes take everything from you and give very little.
Yeah, I agree.
And you're not talking to people who are qualified buyers. You're talking to people who are really confused, and that's like the front lines. That is the the spear point of the army, where you're like meeting people for the very first time.
Yeah, but how about this?
Mm-hmm.
If those shows are consistently like that, stop doing those shows. Because like you said, there is a business aspect to that. It cost you $500,000 just to vend the show. Mm-hmm. And if you're never breaking even, you eventually got to cut bait and troll your boat somewhere else.
Right, exactly. And even if you're making money, could you have been making more money finding a better source of qualified buyers? Like I went to a very show intensive model post 2023 because that was a bad year. And a lot of people's advice, or a lot of people were like, yeah, you should do more shows because people are very sensitive to the price of shipping right now because the price of everything is not good. And so I was like, okay, sure, it makes sense. But then you're very beholden to like, is that show having a good day? Like that show could be normally pretty good, but then you could lose $500 on a show that is normally a show where you could make $2,000 and you're still stuck there with all that time. And then you don't have the time to do enough social media stuff. So this year I'm cutting way back on shows I'm glad I tried it, but I know for sure that most people at shows are on some sort of Kool-Aid that is not keeping them with reality. Because a lot of them like, I haven't saw a snake in 8 shows, and I'm just here to hang out with my friends. And I'm like, what?
Well, all right. Let me play devil's advocate.
Okay,
here,
do it.
So there is a networking aspect to the shows.
100%. You will meet people at shows you won't meet online, for sure.
Yeah, and that's very valuable too. But if you do, I'll just throw out a number. If you do 12 shows in a row, don't sell an animal for 12 shows, and you just keep telling yourself you're just there for networking, eventually you're going to be like, man, I'm going to go bankrupt and be homeless at that point.
Yeah, and it's at shows where like you're not even like able to network with people, no offense, that are like gonna teach you something or help you or be a good resource or be a wholesale outlet. There's just other people who are sort of hanging out, and you're kind of accidentally a big fish in a small pond, and you're like, uh-oh, what am I doing here again? So I'm definitely going down in shows, but I think I wouldn't have known which shows were good unless I'd done more shows. So it's sort of like a catch-22. You got to figure out, A, if you're good at in-person sales, which I'm not. I'll just be honest. And
yeah,
then,
neither am I.
Yeah, and then B, like, maybe some of them are good for networking, but you don't know which ones are until you do it, you know? Good.
Right. So I'm actually, let's talk about 25. I'm actually geared to do more shows than I've ever done, because traditionally I'm a 1, 2, 3 show a year type guy. And right now I'm set up for 4, and there's possibly a 5th and a 6th, like right there on the horizon, just because of location. And that's something that I believe is good, and I'm going to try those out for a year or 2. And then I might have to make some decisions to cut one location or the other or whatever, but it's all part of the risk and reward. I mean, if I'll take the risk. Are you going to
come in with like a dollar amount that you think you should make? Or like how much grace do you build in for networking? Some people are like, yeah, if I just kind of cover my table, I'll cover the hotel, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Well,
do you have a number in mind yet?
I always go in with the expectation that, like, at a bare minimum, I shouldn't lose money. So, like, the show on the very worst day should at least cover tables, gas, hotel, whatever's involved. So that's going to vary show to show. And I've only not met that one time. So,
yeah, I've never not covered expenses, but I've still been mad. So,
but you know, like here's my take. Like I go, like the shows I go to, I don't want to come off like a snob or something, but like it's a Tinley, a Charlotte, like Bob Southeast, they're events. I'm not vending every show in every basement every weekend. Like I kind of choose to go to shows where I'm going to see people that I want to see, where I wouldn't see them anywhere else. Hi, Alex.
Sorry, emergency hug. All right, get it.
That's a pat on the head.
Okay, thank you for patting me on the head. All right, bye. Maybe we'll go to McDonald's to get Pokemon Happy Meals if you're good.
Okay.
I know. Close the door more. The cat's gonna. All right, there we go.
Get him a caramel frappe.
Ugh, yikes. Yeah, I'll do a co-ally with you, Steven. As long as I don't know, I can yell about whatever dumb thoughts I have in my head.
Can you say that word again?
Which one?
Collab.
Steven? Collab.
Did you said collab?
Collab. It's like
right,
water or wash.
Wash.
I'm from the weird part of West Virginia. We don't have enough accents, but we have a little bit.
So back to shows. Shows, I mean, they got to have multiple purposes, you know? But you're never going to get any rewards if you don't take the risk. So, it's all personal choices. Choices and consequences, risk versus reward. You know? It is what it is.
Well, Aaron doesn't do shows and still sells snakes. And that's absolutely true. But I think And I think in a perfect world, I would go back to all online, but it wasn't really working for me in 23. I thought about doing it this year, like no shows.
Well, let's talk about that real quick, because I was all 100% online until the past couple of years. But the whole auction thing has changed the market. Everyone wants to buy everything on an auction, it seems like.
Yeah, I wrote down on my notes, auctions will change. And I think what's going to happen is people are going to become tired of them. Maybe not this year, but like people are just like, I don't want to get 50% of what I think it is. So I'm just going to breed less so I don't have as much pressure to sell. And I know some people are still going to put them on auctions. And I'm talking about morph market auctions because like the prices are not good.
Call it out. Yeah, but here, let's put a different spin on it. Like from the buyer's vantage. Like if you're seriously like gearing up to breed, or you want to take your breeding projects to the next level, you're letting what animals are on auction dictate your projects at that point, instead of buying the specific animal that you need, unless it just happens to be on auction. But like, I look for very specific animals, and
from very specific people too, right?
Yeah, and it's like the animal that I'm looking for will probably not be on auction because it's very specific.
And to be clear, I like auctions in general if they're like specific, special, limited time, separate from the thing that we think of as Kelley Blue Book, which really isn't anymore. So that's where I am. The people who you need morph market auctions a lot, I don't know. Maybe go do some shows or something. I think you could put up a lot of things and it's like not that amoral, but like nobody needs any of these snakes. So like someone has to hold the line somewhere on some price, somewhere on some species, somewhere. If everything goes on auction, what are we doing?
Exactly. So to be clear, I'm not against auctions either, but when that's like seems to be the only way people want to buy animals now, I think that's a problem. But.
Right. And then to be clear, I think live selling will be more popular this year. They just may not be auctions. Like they could be partially auctions, but the idea of people talking to you about something and you're like, oh, that seems pretty good, and I trust this person and they're going to ship it to me, whether it's on Palm Street or on YouTube or on an Instagram Live or whatever. I think that's going to become even more popular because people just like the QVC experience, right? For buying anything, it turns out, and they will like it for animals too. They just don't necessarily have to be auctions,
right?
But they could be. So Palm Street will probably get more popular, and it's really funny because everyone's always like, "Why don't you do Palm Street?" And I'm like, I've talked about like my relationship with Palm Street a lot, but I guess I only talk about it on member lives. Like I can do it.
But I'm set up for it.
Yeah, me too now. You got to remember, if the app you're using or the website you're using or whatever has 100% connectivity between you and your audience, and you don't have it anywhere else, you're not like in charge of that situation. What if you make your whole business on a Palm Street or another website or whatever? You don't have a website and you check out through Palm Street, and Palm Street's like, oh, you're canceled. I think people should do live selling on YouTube or Instagram or wherever also, in addition to Palm Street, because you want to direct them to your website to check out there, not necessarily check out through Palm Street because they own everything. They own the shipping information, whatever. It's more about like getting your eggs out of one basket. Let's get all of our eggs in different baskets.
So like my friend Bruce Lee always says, be water, my friend. Be prepared to pivot. You know.
It can be fun. And also, I mean, thank you for the $2 super chat, Andrew. Everybody should hit the like button because this is the real deal. I did test recently. I think a lot of people noticed. Zuckleberry Finn said he was rolling back the bots that scrape for TOS violations on Facebook. I haven't tested Instagram yet, but my post is still up. Now,
I have no idea what the hell you just said.
All right, let me rephrase it. Mark Zuckerberg, in a recent, like, kind of weird, creepy interview, like he normally does, said that he was going to roll back, like, content violation checking on Facebook and all Meta platforms. So I heard that. I was like, well, what was the last time we were able to post snakes for sale on Meta platforms? 2019. Why was it a problem then? Because they were kind of mad about like election interference stuff at that time. And so that's when they cracked down on the reptile groups, because they didn't really care that much before, right? But now they're like rolling it back. So I tested it. I put a snake for sale, put a dollar amount, and that posting is still up. You can go look at it on my Facebook page right this second. And then I shared that with more keywords that are supposed to be like no words to a group that I moderate. I have no content sort of ID notifications that's bad. I think we're back in business, baby. That's my theory. You don't have to do it. But if you can
I seen that you got an offer on that snake too.
$5. But if we're back in business on Meta platforms in terms of just being like, oh, this is for sale on Instagram, we're not gonna have to do like the subterfuge. You still would have to share it to a group that wants to accept sales at the risk of it being deleted hypothetically in the future if they ever change their mind. But we can do it now, I think. So you could have price lists again on our business page. Like, hey, hit me up. Here's the price list. You don't have to message to ask. Here it is. So I think that's good. Maybe. What do you think?
I think it's good. I mean, I've always sold a lot on Instagram, though. I mean, it's always in DMs. I mean, I don't really like speak in hieroglyphics with planes and all this crap and whatever. I just post stuff and people build it and they will come. Like,
right. Well, there was a time
I'm full of cliches.
Like in 2019 when you and I were getting in, where most boas and colubrids and stuff sold on Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, there was raffles and auctions all the time, man.
So like those species, those people maybe are used to going over to Morph Market now, but they don't necessarily have to. So if you want to have like a rare species group or a like just puzzle combo group on Facebook, I think you can pull it off now. I don't know how long it'll last, and your mileage may vary, but
I'll make a sell post on my Small Town Exotics Facebook account.
Yeah, try it.
Yeah, because I don't really use the Facebook one. I'm all in Instagram. It's like, man,
I got zero content notifications, and I use numbers like $, numbers, animal for sale, snake for sale, picture of an animal, nothing.
Beast Morphs is laying down some good comments, by the way.
All right.
I don't have the power to highlight anything, even though I'm a sponsor. And I should be like part of.
Which one was your favorite comment? I think I'm back in time. Sorry, Reggie's here.
Yeah, he said one about 300, and then he said one at 648.
Oh, I'm way 648. Oh, you're in the future.
No, I'm in the here and now. You're living in the past.
Let's read this one. Steven said, I agree with the live selling on YouTube over Palm Street. I'm not a fan of them taking 10% of every sale, and we need to bring our own audience to make a Palm Street auction successful. 100%. Also, people don't get this. I think this is so valuable. VODs. If you do a really cool, long discussion of Calico combos, Shane, and all of the versions, and you show the holdback and you show the ones for sale, if you did all that on Palm Street, when you're done, it's gone. If it's on YouTube, it's stored forever. And so anybody could search through and look for a 40-minute sort of live QVC selling thing of Shane and all of his calicos, including the adults, forever.
Okay. I agree with Steven. I agree with you. But not everyone, not every breeder in this chat has a YouTube channel.
They
or
should,
or an audience built around it to be able to do that.
Right. Well, they can get on other people's, like as guests. That's why I was like talking about doing showcase. Are you trying to point?
I'm pointing at you. You're the one that gives
right,
people.
because I know people think I don't make any money off of the auctions, and I never will, because it's not about that. I don't know why people are so weird about like, oh, it's more about like, do you want to have a little time to showcase whatever? Does it need to be an auction? Are you like really hurting? Do you need to sell something? We don't need to.
This sounds like the beginning of an infomercial or something. Like, are you hurting? Do you need to sell things?
I'm gonna sell those little like help I've fallen but I can't get up things at Dallas. PETA does own Facebook stock, but I think it was more about just like pretending to enforce their TOS to make, I don't know, people who were mad at them at the time happy, but they're not doing it now. So I don't know how long it'll last, but here it is.
Do you have a structured settlement?
We gotta call JG Whitworth. 877 cash now. Nobody knows what that is.
That's our age.
Aaron says people buying beautiful animals up to 300-ish pets will never end. That's true. 3 gene heads and single visuals are just hitting the under 500 price now. Visuals are definitely $50. I don't know what you're talking about. Like you could go buy a pied for $100 or a clown for $50. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, but so like there's so many layers and nuances to this. Like you could go buy a pied for $50 from Joe Blow Schmo with actual like no aftercare or support, or you could buy it from someone like me or you and pay, I don't know, $150 and have like lifetime messaging support. Like I am your tech support.
Well, people need to believe that animal in that time is worth $150 to start doing that. There's a lot of pieds that are sub $150 on Morph Market right now from big name breeders.
I know. I just threw out a number because I haven't bred pieds in 2 years. So I sold my last pieds on a holdback rack auction.
I didn't tell you. Well, you should ask me more questions.
Let's go to medieval times, Chris. Medieval times, brother. I'm a big fan of that place too.
You would have to yell a lot to fit in, like a lot. You have to call for blood.
I'm good with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think people are starting to do it because I mean, have you ever noticed who is not using auctions? Like they're like clearly taking like a stand, like a moral stand by their absence.
I don't know because I don't look at auctions.
I know. It doesn't matter, but I think they are going to convince people to stop using auctions for stuff that should be like investment quality. Just use it for like pet quality or like little wholesale lots or like breeder males they don't need anymore. They're going to start convincing them because somebody's got to peer pressure somebody for stuff to chill out a little bit, you know? That's all.
Well, this is what I've noticed. All right. We're talking past, present, future. This is what I've noticed. There seems to be a lot of newer people getting in over the past year. So that's a bonus. Mm-hmm. But there's still people doing fire sales, collection, get out of Dodge sales too. So we're not quite leveled out yet. But I mean, I think it's a boon to everyone that we have new, fresh blood.
Right. They don't have
because there was like a year where I wasn't seeing anyone new.
Like 23?
Yeah, I think it was 23, maybe. Yeah, it was 23. I'm old. I get years confused up at this point in my life. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, they don't even have to get in to be a breeder, which I think is like a bias that some sort of I have. It's like I talk a lot about breeders. I would love to just have people like get in to join to want to be like, I don't know, a hot Instagram influencer with Zen habitats and a bunch of pothos and some twinkly lights. Like, that's fine. Do that. Like, you're a part of the system too. So,
well, I
do that.
I successfully brought in new blood today. My coworker and her teenage daughter bought their very first reptile from me right before the show. See, I'm like out there spreading the gospel everywhere.
How often do you touch your balls?
I've touched them at least 10 times since I've been on the show.
You gotta readjust.
Yeah, man. I was wearing thermals all day, so I was, I'm like airing out now.
For 2025, I have the goal to not buy snake from anybody who I think is a ding dong. What do you think about that goal?
I think that's the goal every year, Jessica.
I know, but some people are like, yeah, you should just buy it because it's good for your projects. I'm like, it might be good for your projects. It might be a great deal, but I'm not sure if some ding dongs deserve anybody's money. What do you think of that?
I'm definitely on that team.
Yeah, okay. It's always like hard because everyone's like, I didn't know that they, whatever.
Do you think, because it seems to be a little trend, what do you think about ball python breeders diversifying going forward? Are you team diversify or not diversify?
I always have been, because I think it makes you a better
keeper
in general. It teaches you things that maybe you would overlook in one community, you would get taught in another community. It gives you skills. It helps you blend in. If you ever they do like the purity test. It's so weird. Some old timer keepers will do a purity test, sort of. They're like, do you know Joe Blinken? He lives down the street. He bred gray bands 47 years ago and he caught them off of the roof of, you know what? Like, and you have to kind of know who Joe Blinken is. Those are all made up names, right? But like, if you do that, you sort of pass the purity test a little bit better, and you're like, why is that important? And it's like important because sometimes Joe Blinken is actually the #1 wholesaler in Texas. And if you know him and you can be friends with him, you can wholesale or whatever, have connections. So like having other species makes you a better keeper, business man or woman. What do you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm on team diversity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's definitely a balance there too. I mean, you don't want, 56 different things going on. And maybe you can. I don't have the bandwidth for it, but I've just noticed ball python breeders branching out a little bit, and I really like it. I really, really like it. So
it breaks up the monotony of whatever you're doing. There's a lot of benefits. We've talked about it a lot. I do think there's something called like a diminishing returns where you're doing 70 things. You have 70 species that have way different husbandry, and you have like an abronia building and a ball python building and this, and
at that point you're a zoo.
Right. So at that point you need to like write SOPs and have employees that like do them procedurally, which is a different thing, I think.
Hey, I agree with Chris on this. You should be like the Dr. Laura of the reptile industry, where people just call in and ask you questions. You never heard of Dr. Laura?
Who is the old lady who did the sex show?
I think that was Dr. Laura. That's who I'm referring to. But you could be reptiles, not sex. But
no,
reptiles.
His name was like literally like Ruth or something. Doctor.
Yeah, but it could be about reptiles having sex, and you'd be like, yeah, well,
yeah, that'd be fantastic.
What's her name? What color are the hemipenes?
Her name was Dr. Ruth Westheimer.
Yeah. You could be that.
Yeah, I would love to be that. That'd be fire.
Yeah, you could be that. Yeah, I like that.
That'd be fun. She always talked about anal sex in the funniest way possible. So everyone should Google that.
Yeah.
Very good advice, though. Mission Morphs here.
What are your goals for 25? Like, are you breeding just for projects? Are you going to breed some pet fodder? Are you downsizing breeding? Are you going like all in? Give me the skinny.
I'm definitely not going all in. I think like it was so hard this last year selling rare stuff at shows, and I was like very discouraged, honestly. So like I'm gonna like partition what animals go where, when, in such like a discreet way. So like rare species online only. They're never going to a show again. What's the point? what is the point? I even took them to Dallas, and everyone's like, well, there's no rare species at the shows. Well, it's because they don't sell. So what's the point? I will take the happiest, cheapest, beautifulest things to shows, and that's it. And you might be like, well, then you're not showing off whatever you produce. I'm like, I don't care. For these kind of little shows, maybe for the nicer ones, I'll start to do the like, this is a show off only display of ball pythons or whatever, but maybe things will like really turn around and I'll be like, oh no, I didn't bring enough ball pythons. But I think that's a good problem to have instead of the, oh no, I brought 17 displays. I sold 4. That's like a lot of labor. But I'm going to stay kind of conservative. Like I probably won't breed I won't breed every adult female of every species I have. I'm going to probably breed half of some and all of the rarer ones. So I'm not going to breed every corn snake I have this year or every ball python I have this year, but I will breed every Climac and every Shenriki. What about you? Are you all in?
I'm my ball pythons, I kind of stated earlier, but they're geared towards, everything's geared towards a project at this point. So the ones that are going to go, I'll be breeding for project purposes. I'm breeding all my hognose, but they're geared towards projects. I have one breeding this year that's just for funsies, and I'm going to try to breed some Mexican Black Kings, just to increase my knowledge and be a better keeper, a well-rounded reptile enthusiast. So I'm doing it just for funsies. I have 2 of them. I don't need any more black snakes. I just want to breed them once just to do it.
Yeah, and that's fine too.
So I'll be calling you on that because I don't really know how to breed them, but unless it's similar to a hognose, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it kind of is. You just like pair them after you feed them so they don't eat each other and kind of watch them and then take them apart again.
Are they real fast like hognose? Like you don't need to leave them in there for like days like a ball python.
Right. They should lock up quickly.
All right.
They should.
Yeah.
Might be a couple hours, but they don't. They're like corn snakes are like that too. They gotta go. They got stuff to do. They're not gonna court.
They got king snake stuffs to do, you know?
Yeah. They gotta kill things and eat them and poop on stuff.
Steven with the PH.
Yeah.
What's up, brother?
A lot of my like ball python projects are stuff for me because like I'm trying to move my collection very hypo, very tri-stripe, and very monsoon currently. I do have other stuff still, but like it's, you know how people have been like dumping large number of adults everywhere all the time. It makes it hard to sell adults that you just want to sell because you just don't need them anymore. You're not like getting out. So like I've been taking adults, female ball pythons to shows, and they're like, you know, you're wanting a C, but you're like, I just need to sell these 10 this year because that's my like upgrade. So like I have a bunch of sort of leftover stuff that I want to sell, but I can't because like everyone else is dumping them too at the same time. So I just sort of like slow roll them, and if I can use them for something good, that's fine. But I don't really want to use them because that's not what I want to do, right? I don't want to make.
Yeah, that's the part of the market that chaps my hide right there. Because in my opinion, a proven breeder female is worth their weight in gold. And like you said, when the market is saturated with them and people are only willing to pay $50, but they'll buy the baby with the same genetics for $1,500, but the proven breeder adult version's worth like pennies. I'm like, this makes 0 sense.
Right. So I have gone back and forth. Like sometimes you do got to get rid of them because you need this space. But sometimes I'm like, it would be better for the market if people chilled on the females and just fed them. Don't breed them. Take care of them. Feed them. But don't feed them a lot because you don't necessarily want them to build follicles. But if everyone's dumping everything all the same time, it's very suppressive. And everyone lacks confidence because like, why would I want to breed ball pythons when 5 to 10 of the people in this room right now look like they're getting out?
Right.
You're supposed to dole them out a little bit at a time. Like, oh, I'll take 5 to this show in like a little acrylic stack. These are the upgrades section. Not I'm dumping in a two like things of Walmart tubs worth of adults of all kinds that aren't that good anyway. But if someone was interested, they would be like, oh, this is a bad hobby because all of these people are giving up. If you're going to give up slowly. Give up a little bit of it at a time. And I guess when people are giving up, they don't care about anybody else or those animals. So they're just going to dump. That part's not good. I don't know what to do about that. But
Yeah.
Are there any morphs you want to buy this year? New that you don't have yet?
Well, I bought some in Canada. I know that was last year, but that was I finally got Hurricane. Mm-hmm. I'm way late on that, but it was the animal I needed. Very specific to my projects because I didn't just need a Hurricane. I needed other things attached to it. And I got into Scrambler too. So those were two on my short list right there.
Do you worry about Scrambler?
No, I don't worry about Scrambler.
I do.
Why?
I don't know, because some of the combos, I'm like, yeah, there's a clear color difference that even if it's a pie and you can't tell, the Scrambler's making a color difference. But sometimes they're like, I'm sure this is Scrambler, but it's like Super OD, Yellbilly, Fire. And you're like, can you tell the color difference? And maybe I just haven't experienced enough of them. But some of them I'm worried don't have Scrambler in them. And people just say they do.
That is a possibility. I'll tell you a gene that I think is hot AF.
What's that?
Shrapnel.
Has there been more combos produced since the clown?
I have made a leopard shrapnel. I've made a spot nose shrapnel. These are clowns. Leopard spot nose, a leopard clown shrapnel, a shrapnel spot nose clown, and a shrapnel clown. I'm working it like, I don't want to put it in a 50 gene animal. I want to know what I'm looking at. And I was really, really impressed with my leopard clown version of shrapnel. I thought leopard would kick its ass because leopard usually does that in clown. Mm-hmm. But it's good going forward.
Is this just the regular?
No, that's spot nose one. And then, or no.
Is it?
I don't know if I ever posted the leopard.
What is this?
No, I don't. That's just my shrapnel. No. No, I don't think I posted the leopard. I did on my stories.
Oh, well, you got to work on that.
Why is Blake on my main page?
I don't know. He probably tagged you.
Blake is infiltrating my Instagram. I'll post a picture of the leopard. I was very impressed and very happy with the leopard version. And the single gene shrapnels I hatch out, like you can't miss them. It's not like I think it is, and no. It's like a granity, hurricane-y looking jumbly thingy.
Do they have a belly that's distinct in any way?
I mean, I don't know. It's not like confusion, like where it has a zipper or anything, you know. But
even like Super Leopard has a belly stripe a lot of time. So if it was
and here's something with my shrapnel stock. I can't speak for the whole thing, but all of mine start right off on frozen thawed too. So
slow clap. It's pretty important. Just saying.
So that's something I'm giving myself a shameless plug. I'll be posting some up later on after the Patreon gets to pick and all that. But
are you gonna take any to Bob's show?
I thought about it, but I'm like, the ones I have that I'm not keeping are 66% het clown, and they just hatched, and I won't have time to get a shed test on them and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to sell them as 66ers. So I'm just
You
going
don't
to
have
keep them
time?
here.
You didn't like separate them as they were shedding out?
No.
Do you want to do like the scale or swab?
I mean, I asked Charlie about the scale, and he said probably don't do it on the babies. And I was thinking about a swab, but you know what? Like, why am I going to rush stuff?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd rush them to like sell them, but rush them to show them off, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I could just take them and show them off. But here's lazy Shane in effect. So I'm going to load up a next level display that I won't be able to fill all the way just to take it and show shrapnel.
So you're just going to do delis with hogs?
Yeah, I got a deli cup display thanks to the Harbins. So I was just going to bring hogs, one hog nose display and shirts and travel light. I'll have 2 of my kids with me, and we'll be on a man trip.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would be easier to bring in a display, but then you wouldn't be showing off shrapnel.
But
Mm-hmm.
I plan on filming a video just like doing the step up thing. Like, here is the base. Here is the shrapnel clown. Here is the shrapnel.
Oh, yeah. Do
spot
that
nose.
for sure.
Here is the leopard version and blah, blah, blah. And, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people launch a gene and don't do enough social media. And so everybody just sort of like hears about it like it's a rumor for years.
Yeah. I want to do like a step up so you could see, like, here's what it is here just by itself. Here it is, just clown shrapnel. And then here's with spot nose. Here's it. I was going for shrapnel Batmans, but I missed. But I hit a spot nose and I hit a leopard version. So whatever.
So what about hog noses? Are you want to get more adults next year, or are you just going to start slowing down on purchases?
No, there's still a few purchases that I need to make. Yeah, there's some purchases, but here's something. Let's talk 2025 small town exotics goals. So through my divorce proceedings, there's some debt that I accrued. And for the first time ever, I'm going to make small town pay stuff other than just blow money on snakes and take care of snakes. So small town's going to pay off some debt. So small town's going to be focused on paying debt off and before buying new snakes. That's
probably good. Let's be honest.
Because cash flow is king. I need more cash flow in my personal life now that I'm a single parent. So how's that for some real honesty and being responsible? I'm adulting.
Yeah, for sure. What about, gosh, I think about this a lot. I know it's probably not the best time, but I've been like looking into getting something manufactured in China for the hobby. And have you thought about anything like that? Like some sort of good or service that small town could provide that isn't actually just breeding snakes?
No.
Okay.
Are you talking about like inventions and product, like dry good type things?
Yeah, maybe. Or like you're just like, I want to make, I don't know, whatever you want, some kind of thing. People make them and then you sell them.
Yeah, that's not my thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just not my thing. Then you got to ship them, or you got to be a show hound and sell them, and that's like no.
I mean, have you watched like Ecopia?
No.
Okay. He just like launched his like a very specific style of like feeder dishes and crescent gecko diet dishes and his own style of branches. And he ships them from his house or whatever. And he was at the last Dallas, but I don't know if he's coming to this one, but he wasn't there for a while. So like there's like a pipeline of people that'll get in, breed some species, but then like just start making stuff for that species instead of like really focusing on the breeding part.
See, I like breeding.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I learned in my little tenure in the reptile industry. Once upon a time, I used to order shirts in bulk. and I used to make all these fancy tags and do all this shit. But when it came to like shipping all these shirts out and stuff, I did not like it at all. Like, I don't like it at all. Like, I barely like shipping snakes, you know, and I have to do that. So, yeah, I don't want to ship anything else. And I don't want to be like feeling like I have to vend 200 shows a year to offload non-animal things. So
Okay,
that's
good.
where I'm at with it.
Yeah. I just sometimes I do like that kind of sales because it's not complicated. They either want a shirt or they don't. And you
Right. And you don't have to feed that stuff.
Yeah, it's actually fire.
Yeah.
The scalability is like built in, right?
Right.
Yeah, I hope he does good too. He's trying his best, and he still breeds a little bit, but I think there's a lot of like pivot to dry goods that could happen.
I seen, and I believe it was a crested gecko person, but they made like a vertical display with like rings where you hang the geckos and the delis like that. And I was like, that's a pretty cool looking display.
Yeah, I've seen them in person, not from the guy who made it, but somebody who bought one. They're fire because they have like a little thing that like holds the delis in, like a little bar. So you can lock the bar. So they're all out in the air, but they're locked in. You have to like punch the deli and like get it to collapse to get the animal out. Yeah, I know China imports and the troll toll, but there's a lot of products that I think we need that we don't have, that we could have more of, like teeny tiny hides for the VE 160 and like the I-80 tubs.
Yeah, I don't even think there are hides for those.
Some people like 3D print them for themselves, but I'm like, what if you could get like that nice plastic that's not like.
I know a local guy that can make all the stuff for me.
Is his name Josh Harbin?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just a thought. Like, I think about it a lot, but I want it to be something that's not obvious, I guess, but like it's transformative. But then I guess everybody else wants that too. So you have to keep thinking about it. Anything else that's a goal for 2025 specifically, or?
Nope. Small town's going to pay off some debt. I'm going to start vending some more shows that I've really looked forward to. And that's about it.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to do more other kinds of social media content?
Oh, yeah. So I'm working into it. So like you can see, I built a room and I'm doing some things social media wise, but I don't want to say stuff out loud yet.
Spoilers. Yeah. For like Holeback Rack specifically, which I know we're on that channel, not my channel, but I think people can tell I've been putting more vlogs and videos here. So I'm like desperate for structured, written, thought out content. Like, I know we're kind of thought out right now, but not really, right? Are we thinking?
I'm thinking, but I'm not thought out. No. You got the wrong guy on the show for that.
So I want more like literally video essays of people being like, why do I love geckos or what, like whatever. And there is some of that, but a lot of it's sort of like, this is this, and I take it. I want to do more of that. And I think a lot of these long form content things, like our friends come and hang out and say hi, but this isn't like an inviting spot for new people. Because they're like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Why is there so much backstory I don't know about? So more new people content that isn't like an essay necessarily. It's just like, what is Boa Sigma? Go.
Yes. Now you're speaking my language, because I would watch that video 14 times.
Right. And have some B-roll and just talk about it. Just go. Just promote the species, talk about all the morphs that are in it, talk about the care, size, whatever. and just go and just keep doing even more of that. And I keep trying to tell people, I'm like, everyone should do that. Because if you want a new set of baby breeders to come in and feel like there's content that's ready for them, we sort of have an empty space right now in terms of content creators making intro level material, which there are some for sure. But we need
Are you
more.
forcing me to say what we've talked about in the past?
No.
Is that what you're doing?
You could just leave it as a teaser. Just the tip.
All right. Just the tip. I got a ton of kids. That don't ever work for me. But yeah, I'm going to do some more content that's geared towards entry level people. Like Jessica said, we need to draw in new blood.
Mm-hmm. So and that means like make animals they want to buy. So pretty, happy snakes. Put it in front of them. Talk about why it's cool and it's not bad. There's a lot of marketing right now. It's just like breeding any animal for profit is bad. Like any animal, not just ball pythons. I've seen stuff that condemns almost every common species of reptile as just any breeding of it is bad. It's all adopt, don't shop. It's all you guys are amoral. It's not good. So you need sort of counter programming that like tells people to do things the right way, is pretty fun and accessible and understandable. And also Alicia's here and she knows a guy also. Yes, I have a bunch of scripts too. So if you have scripts, just run it. We don't all have to like, we're not going to all be YouTube stars. That's not the point. The point is like, you know, I know people, they're not that controversial to me, but Olympus was a good, easy entry point for like the idea of how to breed ball pythons. They're not doing it anymore. So we need a new version of Olympus. So they could have different sort of like breeding styles or whatever, but just something that makes it simple. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, the Hardwicks and the Olympuses are gone. So there's a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So I plan on doing some more how-to videos, entry-level style videos, because I'm going to give some of what my experience is. I've had a YouTube channel for 5 years. And let me tell you, all the clutch cuttings and all that stuff, those videos get views for like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
All the ones like I've done about how to feed frozen thawed, how to build a CO2 chamber for euthanizing rodents. Those ones are thousands of views and I still get comments on them. Like entry-level people still like how to build a freedom breeder rack, how to program a thermostat, all of those things. I still get comments and views on those.
Yeah. And you always will, because it's like optimized for search. It's something that materially is a need in that viewer's life at that moment. And so they're always going to want to hear a couple different people's opinions on how to do that. And one of the things that we're going to want to hear also is like, how do I pick which ball pythons to buy when I want to start a ball python breeding business or corn snakes or rare, whatever. And then like, what is a ball python? How big does it get? All of those really, and they're kind of boring, right? Because you're 5 years in, but we all have to redo them again and re-optimize them for the current sort of SEO landscape. Give them a new thumbnail that's shiny, new background, but basically just recycle the content because it's on a whole new set of people.
True story. True story. One of the motivators for me doing this with my channel is here, I don't know, it could have been 3 months ago, it could have been 6 months ago, but somebody said, oh, I learned how to feed frozen thawed from Shane's video. Mm-hmm. In a chat that I was in, and I was thinking, damn, that video is 5 years old. Like, I know I do it way different because now it's geared towards biosecurity and stuff where back then I was not. So I need to redo that, freshen that all up, and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, that just keyed in on the fact that, like, what my analytics tell me, like, those videos are continuously getting views. People are interested in that.
And I don't remember the name of the mechanism, but there's actually like a psychological phenomenon where if somebody feels like you helped them, even if you didn't know you helped them, they like feel like they owe you something, but you're just like, people will have a little bit of parasocial handshake. And And that's good. And you're not supposed to try to manipulate people. You're just trying to tell them, like, in your opinion, what is your belief about how to defrost frozen thawed rodents? It's like not that controversial. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to do takedown videos or whatever, but like structured, thoughtful, in your personality ways to take care of animals. More people should do it. And I 100% believe, having done 181 podcasts at this point, that long form, even though it's my favorite, is not everyone's favorite. So there should be more shorter ones.
So bigger isn't always better?
Turns out, no. Sometimes you just can't handle it. The girth is just too intense. I mean, just look at the views. Go look at the views of a relatively happy ball python channel that's still active currently, where the videos are all 12 to 15 minutes, maybe 20. It's way higher than people with podcasts. We do get watch time for days. Great. But most people who are interested in a 2-hour discussion of what Shane Kelley's doing in the future are interested in it because they're already in it. And they're just like, some tips, trips, see what the vibes are. It's not going to make people start to watch this now,
Correct. I concur.
Mm-hmm. Yes, good. I'm glad. And this is like across the board. If you love Boa Sigma videos. If you love Papuan pythons, not Papuan, the carpet pythons, what Papuan pythons? Make Papuan python videos. Whatever you love, put it on the internet, describe it, talk about it, have fun about it, build your brand, make 2025 for you. I'm real tired of depending on shows, certain websites to provide me business, because they don't really. They're okay. They're fine.
I need you to make boa videos, because I already had the boa police in one of mine. So.
Oh my God, already? They're kind of mean.
Well, because I said, like, oh, this is an anery. And like, I know my channel is full of ball python people. So like I said, like, this is like exanthic and boas. And then I had anery is the lack of red. Yeah, I know that. I'm trying to make a comparison here. I didn't clarify every detail, but God.
Yeah, I think
anery is a lack of red, where exanthic is a lack of yellow. No shit.
Mm-hmm. Roger says all of it's important, and I think that's true. I don't mean like exclude podcasts, but I think a lot of people are like, I should start a podcast, and I kind of want to shake a new person. I'm like, no, don't do it. You'll spend hundreds of hours making something for someone that is so like specifically focused that like it's much harder to get your name out there. I honestly wish I had just in some ways started just a YouTube channel to begin with. Yeah.
Did you know that Roger's favorite band is Collective Soul?
He's just a fun guy.
Yeah. That photo looks like it would be like his Tinder photo.
Yeah. Phil said Reach Out Reptile's top videos are DIY incubator and a snake pooping. Yeah. And sometimes I think people's top videos need to start being like, my 5 prettiest snakes. Don't even talk about the morphs, maybe. Just, we got to start going back to that, which is so boring, but like, we got to do it. Sorry. It's time. And then, you get free ad revenue once you get monetized. So like, it's fine. More people will 100% know you because you put a lot of impetus in your YouTube channel this year than they will because you did 20 shows. I promise. Because there's a lot of those hound dog show dogs, I don't know for nothing because they don't have a YouTube channel.
Let me interject something here.
Mm-hmm.
So you will get ad revenue, but the sales and the networking are way more rewarding than the ad revenue that you get from YouTube. Like you get those first couple checks and you're like, what? I put
right, the RPM
CPM. This was a full-time job and I got $100 for the whole month?
Yeah, for pets is bad. I just mean like, I don't know. There is something a little bit more satisfying about getting 10 cents on a reel on YouTube than no cents on a reel on Instagram. What do you think about that? It sort of gamifies like being active. So you might, but the like bounty is in like people know who you are. They trust you. They thank you for teaching them how to do frozen thawed 5 years later. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
All right. I think we did it. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah,
Awesome.
I think so. That was my dinner alarm. So
It's dinner time. I'm trying to put together a PVC demo terrarium. Do it. Especially like, yeah, cage building stuff is always good. Cage reviews. Very good also. Any of that's good because that can help lots of kinds of people. Reptile show walkthroughs. Sometimes they're kind of boring. It's hard to make them fun, but the more of that, the better. And a lot of people are still in the hobby, and I go check their YouTubes. They're 2 years old. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? They just gave up. But we don't need to give up. We need to get motivated. How about that?
Champions make adjustments, not excuses.
Exactly. So I'm going to do more videos. I'm not stopping podcasting, but there's probably going to be some weeks where I'm going to be like, I'm going to write a 45-minute discussion about something. And I don't want to do a podcast because I want it to be SEO optimized and I want the right people to see it. And I want it to promote, keeping better.
That sounds like goals.
Goals. All right.
I like it.
You go eat dinner. We'll say goodbye to everybody. I don't know when. I don't know. Somebody message me if you want to argue about the situation on the internet about a cage builder who recently went out of business. Because it's drama alert on the member live. We keep it on the member live only. But if you are a member and you want to argue about it, I would love it. So bye. Probably Saturday or Sunday.
Bye, Aurora.